All right, so um, diving right into it today, let's talk about a situation that's about as high stakes as it gets. Drones, targeting world leaders. We're looking at the recent incident with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. What happened? What does it all mean? You've given us a New York Times article on this whole thing, so let's start with the incident itself. Expert, can you set the scene for us?
Sure. On October 19th, a drone launched from Lebanon struck a building incredibly close to Netanyahu's private residence in Caesarea.
Wow. Okay, so not just an attack on Israeli soil, this was aimed directly at the country's leadership.
Exactly. A move practically unheard of in modern history. Really makes you think.
Yeah, what were they even hoping to achieve with such a bold move? It's not like they could take out a whole government with one drone.
Right. And that's where things get interesting. This wasn't about mass casualties. This was about sending a very pointed message. Hezbollah, the group attributed with this attack, they've been increasingly relying on drones. But this incident, it's a serious escalation. It's Hezbollah deliberately probing Israel's renowned defense systems, a way to maybe expose weaknesses for the whole world to see.
Which honestly is a terrifying thought. Israel is practically synonymous with ironclad security. I mean, their Iron Dome, it's world famous. What makes these drones so hard to counter? The article mentioned something about that.
Think of it this way. Traditional defense systems are like hawks. They're built to hunt rabbits, right? They detect and intercept large, fast-moving objects. Think fighter jets, missiles, that sort of thing. Drones, on the other hand, they're like mosquitoes, buzzing around in the dark.
Oh, okay.
They're small, slow, often made of materials that don't even register on conventional radar. Trying to track them is it's like trying to track a whisper in a hurricane.
Okay, now I'm starting to get the heebie-jeebies a little bit. It's one thing to hear advanced drone technology, but a whole swarm of these things, slipping past even the most sophisticated defenses, that changes everything.
And that's exactly what this incident near Netanyahu's home has exposed, how even the most protected targets can be vulnerable. The article highlighted that Israel, despite all this technological prowess, is struggling to adapt. They're having to completely rethink their defense strategy.
This feels like a pivotal moment, you know, like we're witnessing the birth pangs of a whole new era of warfare.
Precisely. And it's not just Israel that needs to be paying attention. This incident has implications far beyond the Middle East.
So from a drone buzzing near a beach house, we've stumbled onto a much bigger issue. The rise... Expert, can you walk us through why this one event has everyone on edge?
Yeah, see, this drone strike, concerning as it is, it's not an isolated incident. It fits into this larger pattern, right? Hezbollah's activities, they've been steadily raising the temperature in the region.
You mentioned other incidents like that military base that was hit.
Exactly. August. Hezbollah launches a drone strike on an Israeli military base. Tragically, 4 soldiers lost their lives. And that wasn't just symbolic. This demonstrated a real capacity to inflict casualties, disrupt operations,
So they're not just sending a message, they're actively engaging in conflict, using drones as their weapon of choice. What are they ultimately trying to achieve?
So some analysts believe Hezbollah is deliberately trying to get a rise out of Israel, provoke a larger response. By hitting these sensitive targets, they're hoping Israel overreacts, plays right into this narrative of Israeli aggression. It's risky, but it could have some serious political benefits for them in the region.
It's like they're playing chess, but instead of bishops and rooks, they're moving drones, trying to maneuver Israel into a corner.
Yeah, precisely. And remember, Hezbollah, they're not just some fringe group, right? They've got serious political influence in Lebanon. Their actions, they're designed to resonate not only within Lebanon, but across the entire Middle East.
Okay, so ripple effects. Way bigger than anyone initially realizes. The technology of drone warfare, the strategic calculations of a non-state actor, the potential for a much wider conflict. It's a lot.
It really is. It highlights a fundamental shift in how we wage war in the 21st century. We're moving away from those traditional battlefields, right? We're moving into this realm where even seemingly peaceful locations can become targets.
Which is, well, that's a deeply unsettling thought for anyone. And I mean anyone, not just world leaders. If Israel, with all their tech, all their intelligence, if they can be targeted like this, what does that mean for other countries? What about just regular people?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's what keeps security experts up at night. This technology, the tech needed to launch these drone strikes. It's getting easier to get, cheaper too. That's a game changer. It's not just nation states with this capability anymore.
So we're talking about a potential future where the threat of drone warfare, it's not just limited to war zones or political targets. It could impact everyday life anywhere in the world. That's a lot to think about.
It is. It necessitates a completely new approach to security, one that moves beyond the traditional methods of defense.
Right.
Think about it. Walls, fences, even that fancy radar. They're designed to stop something physically crossing a border, right? But what happens when the threat comes from the sky? Silently, invisibly.
You're right. We need a total paradigm shift. Can't rely on the same old playbook. What does that even look like? How do we counter this new breed of threat? I'm guessing there's no easy answers here.
No, there really aren't. But recognizing the complexity of the problem, that's the first step. And honestly, that's something this entire incident has forced us to do. A wake-up call, you know? We're living in a world where the line between war and peace, civilian and combatant, it's getting blurrier every day.
We've gone from a drone near a beach house to, like, the future of warfare. It's crazy how one event can, unravel so much.
It really shows you how interconnected everything is today. This whole thing in Israel, it's a microcosm. Technological advancement, the balance of power shifting, it's a lot.
It is. It is. And it makes you wonder, what happens now? What are the solutions? Can we even fix this? Or is drone warfare the new normal?
Yeah, those are the billion-dollar questions.
Yeah.
No easy answers there. Ignoring it, that's not an option. This has to be a wake-up call. For everyone, we need to talk about this globally. How do we regulate this technology? How do we keep it out of the wrong hands? How do we even defend against it? Big questions.
It's like we're back in the early days of, like, nukes, trying to figure out rules before things go too far.
Interesting parallel. And just as relevant. Just like with nuclear weapons, the stakes are incredibly high. Devastating attacks, global instability, a future where, honestly, the skies are filled with threats we can't even see.
Okay, so a bit heavy to end on, but important nonetheless. What are your thoughts on all this? Does this change how you see the world, how you see your own security even? Think about it. And hey, maybe invest in some good bug spray. Until next time, this has been The Deep Dive.